Why is it that some of the worst people are attracted to conservative media? When I started watching this video on Piers Morgan's channel, and I wasn't sure who all the guests were, I tried to guess who the right leaning guests would be, and I did it based on how much they reminded me of the type of women that I would never want to date. You know what I'm talking about, the cheaters and the liars. Bad women. Just bad types of women. Very strong vibes here. And of course, she is one of the right-wing hosts. Definitely some negative vibes here. This one, interestingly enough, and I gotta look into her a little bit more because I wasn't sure about her. She felt safe, like she might be one of the left-leaning guests. I wasn't getting such a negative vibe from her. I know about her already, but I mean, she also looks one of the most normal here. Completely putting beauty aside and just focusing on personality. Number one, I wouldn't want to date any of these women, I don't think. But if I had a gun to my head, I'd have to go with this person. Even though in reality, nah. But if this is the selection, I think I'm gonna go with her. Her, and then her last. Nothing to do with beauty. Do you see what I see? Like, it's nothing about beauty, it's just something about her. Somehow, if you're ugly inside, it shows on the outside. And I see an ugliness in her. And for some reason, some of the ugliest people inside are attracted to conservative media. There's almost an emptiness in the eyes, a darkness in the eyes. I don't see that here. Absolutely don't see it here. A little naive, perhaps, which is usual for people with her ideology. I don't know. Some reason I don't trust her. Nothing to do. I don't know who this woman is. I've never seen her before. But I correctly picked her out of this lineup just based on the energy I'm getting from her, just looking at her. And to be clear, if this person had a beauty inside of her, I could see myself being attracted to her. She's not an unattractive person. The unattractive energy is coming from within, right? The darkness within her soul, her personality, you know. And I don't know why this is just exactly the type of person you see in right-wing media for some reason. Just to be clear, you should never judge someone purely based on their appearance. Someone can give you really negative vibes just by looking at them. Perhaps I do that for some of you, but they could actually be a really nice person. Actually, interesting to put me in this equation because when I was younger, I used to always look very angry. It's something I think I got from my father. He as well. You would never know the sense of humor that he had. He always seemed like a very uptight person, and he definitely walked around looking like, you know, he was ready to fight or something like that. So if you saw him back in the day and me back in the day, you might have a lot of negative vibes. You never know, you know, just kind of the lighthearted person that I was, love to laugh, you know, just friendly guy. The vibe you would get completely would be opposite. So this is a prime example of why you shouldn't just judge someone based on their looks. And even though I technically did that in this show, it's just what I'm pointing out something else, right? I judge the people I talk about based on their actions and their words, not their looks. However, I just find it interesting that many times the looks matches the personality. That's something I've noticed in particular with right-wing media. A lot of these people, they act and look like the villains that they are. You look at someone like a Roger Stone. I mean, this guy's literally got Nixon tattoo on his back. I mean, and if you look at the way he dresses, he looks like a cartoon villain. Steve Miller, I mean, look at the guy. I can't think of anyone in right-wing media that even looks like, if I were at a dealership or something like that, you know, that I would trust them to like buy anything. If they were selling me something, just off of appearance alone, I would be very, very skeptical before they even open their mouths. So I just find that very interesting. And I don't know what that dynamic is. Is it because of experience that after years of experience with a lot of bad people, have I identified patterns in how they look and their facial expressions? Is that what it is? Is that my machine learning thing that's happening in my brain? You know, if after decades, every time you run into someone who is very confrontational, they tend to blink a lot. They're always blinking, like just blink, 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 blink. Then I guess in the future, when you see someone that blinks a lot, you're gonna associate them with the people that are very confrontational. Now the reality is, again, this is why you can't judge everyone like that. Someone could have this tick to them, but actually not be confrontational. But still, that doesn't change the fact that there might be actual patterns that you can recognize over time. And maybe that's what I'm recognizing, right? Because it's not magic. I don't think I have some kind of magic ability where I can sense their souls. Something in their expressions, just something that I look at in their faces, my brain is associating with negativity. And where else would that come from other than previous experiences with other people who looked in a similar way or had similar expressions? I guess that's what it is. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting topic to get into, but I just wanted to also let you guys know this is not the way to go in terms of, I mean, it's fine for you to recognize these things, but it should not be your primary thing. You should judge people primarily on their actions and what they do, not on how they look. But you can do that and also recognize people, certain things about them in terms of to make your judgment, right? Because for example, you're going to go buy a car, you're not going to have time to like get to know the person, right? So you need to basically be judgmental to some degree. You need to use your judgment, listen to how they're talking to you, their body language, how they conduct themselves, and even how they look, facial expressions, and use that to guide your instincts in terms of how trustworthy the person might or might not be. It's just a fact of nature. People talk about you shouldn't judge people, but you have to. right? At some point, you need to use some level of judgment for survival, right? Some sketchy guy, comes at you on the street talking about his car broke down, something. I mean, you need to make an assessment, because you have to decide whether you can help this person or not help this person, right? Helping the person could be risky because it could be somebody trying to scam you or hurt you or something like that. So you need something to go on, right? You don't have time to get to know them, so you need to basically size them up, how they're dressed, how they're talking. You need to be super judgmental about the stranger you just bumped into when you make a decision of, like, I'm gonna help this person, I'm not gonna help this person. But of course, that's at the risk of someone that's totally fine and totally innocent that just gives you a negative vibe, and you end up not helping someone that needed the help. But it's your life, right? And again, you need some system to protect yourself from the very, very real threats that are out there. So it's unfortunate if your judgment is off on someone, but that's why these are one of the isolated situations where it's appropriate. I don't think you should use that to judge people in your actual lives, people that you have experiences with, where you have the ability to actually look at their actions and their words as opposed to just being super judgmental. But there are places for that. And here it's just sort of, I don't know, intellectual curiosity, I guess. Anyway, this is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Have you noticed these patterns as well when you listen to right-wing hosts? Do you put aside their rhetoric or whatever they've done? Do they look like normal people that just are saying things you disagree with? Or is there something about them that maybe rubs you the wrong way like it does me? Aha! So the second lefty to the right of the other one, the one that I said is kind of safe, but I was getting some kind of a vibe from her that I was unsure about, where I was like, is she a lefty or not? Because I'm getting there's something about her. I watched later in the video. She pushes this, what I view as misinformation about Donald Trump wanting Johnny Carson to be brought back. I watched the full video and it seems like brought back from the dead, because he literally says before that statement, he says they're all dying or something like that. And then he says, bring back Johnny Carson. I gotta look into it. I don't know what else there is to look into it, but I mean, if he's talking about people dying, and then right after that he says Jimmy Carson or Johnny Carson, I think he's acknowledging that he's dead. And when he says bring him back, it's kind of like me saying bring back Michael Jackson, right? I don't know, man. Tell me your thoughts on that one. That seemed a little and of course Piers Morgan called her out on that one.